Shellz.
And I remember when we got to the playoffs and we saw Ollelito storm through that bracket. You have a winner on your hands here. You have someone who could lift that trophy. But now, Man City's Shellz is the only man that stands in the way of that. And after all of Man City's dominance in the Premier League this season, maybe they can do the same here on the virtual pitch.
Well, here we go. The Premier League Grand Final is underway, and it will be Leeds initially, who are on the attack. Ollelito, who has been so good in every single facet of his game, immediately in on goal, and immediately finds the back of the net. Ollelito continuing his run of form.
Ollelito not even allowing Shellz to have a thought process in the early stages of this game. A fantastic fake shot, shifting it onto Son's left foot. The five-star week forever present with Son. And Shellz going to have to come from behind already now. That is not going to be good for your mentality, but for Ollelito, he's been doing this all tournament long, Mark. Early goals, dominating his opponents.
And now the question for Shellz is, having had to come from behind numerous times in this competition, can he do it again? We know that he's got the ability in the locker. It's a different ask when you're going up against a player like Leeds' Ollelito, who has been, like you said, in such fantastic form.
It is worth noting that this first leg is on the Xbox, as mentioned by Kyle Walker on the desk, so this is in favour of Ollelito. Shellz just really needs to keep a close scoreline here, so that when it goes to the second leg on PlayStation, arguably he would have the advantage. You might ask why he has an advantage. It's mainly down to preference of controller and what you're used to, specifically those analog sticks.
A little bit of setback for Manchester City at the start of this one, Shellz, but as I previously mentioned, you only have to look back to previous rounds, how he managed to find last gasp winners. And maybe he's looking to do again now. Rashford in on goal! Oh, goalkeeper movement saves Ollelito. Made himself big, but just that little shift from the left to the right is what kept that clean sheet intact.
It's a very subtle amount of goalkeeper movement, but it's enough. But it's quick thinking from Ollelito, not allowing Shellz to take the initiative with the shot, instead forcing him to direct it right to the goal.
Salah gets it on the right foot. Oh, it's beautiful!
Goal for the visitors.
It was the left foot indeed. They managed to find the back of the net. And Salah, who had wasted a few chances, Michelle in previous games in this tournament, ties it up, and that will settle the nerves.
And I think that's what's important for Shellz. When he's playing that through ball to Salah, needs to be hitting it on left foot, strike across goal, and just dominate when he gets in those situations.
Now straight up the other end, Adama Traore did well to get his body in the way of Son, who was looking to burst past him with that directional nutmeg. Much similar to one of those goals we broke down just a few moments ago. Ollelito really does have just a perfect understanding of every single mechanical facet of this game.
But Shellz has demonstrated that he also knows how to get in behind that defence. He can utilise that skill set as well. And he's not going to go down without a fight here. He's not going to simply roll over and show his belly to Ollelito, who got the first goal. And now Shellz on the attack. He does look dangerous every time he's on the ball.
Hey, it's going to be a really hard-fought game, this one. You can tell just how his players are streaming forward mechanically at the top of their game. This time it's going to be Ollelito who makes the interception defensively, and I just feel like both these players are playing so well going forward, Dan. This might be a game that's decided by who actually manages to keep it tight, is who wins those important tackles.
Well, in terms of their defence throughout the knockout stages, they've both conceded very little goals. It's more been about how many goals Ollelito has scored, but 13 of those did come from the quarter-finals, where he beat Stokes in Tottenham 13-12. He has been in goal-scoring form this tournament.
Shellz to stop that. Ball down the line here to Bukayo Saka. Shellz on the attack for Manchester City. Ollelito trying his best to hassle and harry him, forcing the play back, but we know that Shellz loves to step forward when he has the ball, but so does Ollelito in defence. He brings Reece James out there and just makes a comfortable tackle to turn possession over.
Yeah, aggressive with his defenders, not allowing Shellz to get too comfortable in that final third.
Oh, Mane's in behind here. Just here for Ollelito. Cut back. Rashford looked for that extra ball. And you can just feel every time that Ollelito and Leeds United get into that kind of position, Dan, you almost expect there to be a chance created.
Yeah, I mean, millimetres away from scoring a goal there. Just a really good defensive work.
Oh, yeah. Manchester City. Oh, they snuck it home at the near what a finish that is!
I mean, if you're Ollelito, you're more than happy to see Shellz shoot from there. A tight angle, but Rashford somehow finds its way into the net. Alisson just feet planted, didn't get anywhere near it. And Man City now have the lead. And I think this is the first time we've seen Ollelito behind throughout the entire knockout stages.
Well, questions for Ollelito. Like you mentioned, his preferred console this first as well, but at the moment, Manchester City's Shellz is looking imperious on the virtual pitch, as he now attacks with Sadio Mane. And I'll be honest with you, Ollelito, he's looking at 6s and 7s at the back at the moment. Here's Mo Salah onto that left foot again, tries to turn away from his man. Kevin De Bruyne now, who of course famously scored that penalty to put Shellz through to this kind of stage. Here's Salah. Oh, it's beautiful again from Shellz. It's 3-1. And it's Bruno Fernandes again, and City are looking absolutely phenomenal.
And he's feeling himself right now with Shellz. Starting to heat up. A beautiful passage of play. Quick passing, interlinking between the players. And the finish was sublime. A 2-goal cushion now, and Ollelito looks a little bit bamboozled at the back, not able to keep up with the pace that Shellz is offering.
He looks shook, going to be completely honest with you. Ollelito, I don't think was expecting this kind of pace in attack coming in from Shellz. Shellz is stepping in, he's winning the ball back, he's taking risks in defence, and it's really paying off for him.
Has one last chance here, but Zinchenko steps in, and the referee will probably step in and blow the half-time whistle, which he does. Well, what an explosive first half of this first leg it's been from Shellz on his unfamiliar console of Xbox, but you wouldn't think it after that performance. Ollelito with just the one shot, one goal, but he's 3-1 down.
Take a look at the highlights as well. It was Ollelito who did take the lead, got a little bit fortunate to get the ball initially, but just a beautiful first-time fake shot and finished off by Heung-min Son. But this was vital, I think, for Shellz, for City, for confidence, for mentality, all the things he's talked about himself.
When you look at the previous rounds for Ollelito, he went 3-0 up against Healy, he then went 3-0 up against Diogo at Chelsea. And he could have been going the exact same route if Shellz had not just fought back that quickly, got that quick equaliser, and then he was just in the ascendancy. And look at this goal. To see that and the vision to apply there is just fantastic from Shellz.
Yeah, beautiful little double tap pass just to create the angle and, just miss those extending legs of the defenders who try and cut those balls out. A fantastic first half from Shellz and Manchester City. The question now is, how does Ollelito react? Because you brought it up during that first half. Hasn't been in this position so far in the E-Premier League, and now he finds himself having to chase the game.
I don't think he's been behind throughout the entirety of the Leeds playoffs and this E-Premier League competition.
Patrick Bamford gave him a good game, I've got to say.
Bamford did give him a good game, but now this is a completely different ballgame. Shellz has really turned up here and has flipped the script completely. Ollelito, the favourite for the tournament, has been confident, has been dominating every opponent, got the goal lead. But then Shellz just upped the ante a little bit. The pace that he injected into the game was unbelievable. And for Ollelito, he needs to try and match that pace. Maybe it's a couple of counter-attacks going his way, but defensively, he hasn't been able to keep up with Shellz's quick passing.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a lesson in that first half of how to counter-attack and how to play against Ollelito and how he likes to control games. But now, we're going to see how Leeds United can respond. There's one thing we know about both these players: you can never count them out, regardless of the score, regardless of what's happened before. And still a long way to go until one of these two players will be crowned the E-Premier League champion. Second half underway here. Shellz with a 3-1 lead.
It is worth mentioning that in another competitive FIFA tournament, FUT Champions Cup, Ollelito was able to become a victor, and that does require winning on both consoles, so he is used to playing on the PlayStation.
Here's Mo Salah, looks like directional nutmeg again. Van Dijk took maybe an extra touch. Ollelito wasn't expecting, almost let Mo Salah steal back in and pinch possession off of his toe. And now Ollelito going to be the aggressor here. Van Dijk stepping out of the fence and looking to find a pass forward to just try and ignite some kind of energy going forward.
It's about how much confidence Ollelito is going to have going forward. Is he going to go for those directional nutmegs that have found him so much success? Is he going to still take those shots from outside box when he's down by 2 goals?
Here's Fernandes into Son. Beautiful directional nutmeg, but it just played it towards the body of Reece James, and he was able to make it big and just about get enough on it. But you could see the idea again there for Ollelito, looking for that same move to break through and goal.
And if you do get that directional nutmeg just slightly off angle, it's very much a difficult skill move to work with, because it just pushes the ball rather than allowing you to inject that pace going forward and giving you all that room to actually get a shot away. Sometimes that can be absolute margins in FIFA esports. It can come down to just a slight angle on the analog stick.
Well, here's De Bruyne. Mane's running in behind. De Bruyne is going to carry this himself for Leeds. Ollelito on the hour mark here. Looking to pull one back and make this a one-goal game. Rashford, who's been deadly for him so far, cannot get past James.
Reece James has just been so good at the back. As soon as he's shoulder to shoulder or right in front of one of the players, you have to kind of bet on him to be able to win the ball back.
Now Mane up the other end for City. There's the heel-to-heel. Shellz just taking his time to construct this attack once more. Surgical in his precision with the passing. Rashford now, a little flick out of his feet. Quick stuff, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's the best of Shellz. Manchester City 4-1 up. And this might be one of the best performances we've seen from that man on your screen.
Get that one on the touch screen. He baited the pass originally, and then he turned not once but twice, pushing it out of feet, injecting that pace, getting the possibility to even shoot there with Rashford. And what a goal that was from Shellz. And now he has a 3-goal lead. And Ollelito is really struggling here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Shellz's reaction as well. He's trying to stay focused. But this, Dan, for me, put it in context. This is the grand final of the E-Premier League. Directional nutmeg, turns back, then gets the second directional nutmeg to give himself the opportunity to strike. When given the opportunity, he puts it away. And I think that reaction not only shows how good Shellz realised he was in that situation, but that's a step closer to becoming Premier League champion.
It's also how he initiated that run with Salah just to ensure that he baited that defender away, so he at least had the 1v1. Turned into a kind of 1v2 in the end, but it didn't matter for Shellz because he was so quick on his feet to be thinking about where he wanted to go and how he wanted to score. And there are more goals in this grand final for sure, but at the moment it looks like they might be going in the way of Shellz, who maybe is doing a favour for his fellow Englishman Stokes, who took an absolute battering in the early stage of this tournament from Ollelito. But Shellz fallen up now and maybe wants to look for more.
And almost immediately from kickoff as well, Shellz wins the ball back. Sometimes everything's going your way, and Rashford now once again bearing down on goal. Van Dijk is at 6s and 7s and just about manages to get the laces of his boots on that one, as Rashford was once again looking dangerous. But now, straight up the other end, Bukayo Saka.
We did hear from Shellz in the interview that he was guilty of just turtling up a little bit.
Ball inside here, Son. Oh, a chance for Ollelito! And don't count him out yet. Wonderful finish from Mane. And still plenty of time left in this first leg of our grand final to close that gap even more.
To get here into this grand final, he had a 2-goal lead. He turtled up. He allowed his opponent to have too much possession to push him. And it went all the way to an extra minute win it for him. He needs to make sure he doesn't allow Ollelito to get back into the game too comfortably here. And maybe he just needs to continue with his aggression, continue the way he's been playing for the majority of this game.
Shellz now has to be careful. Ollelito all of a sudden stepping out of defence and winning the ball comfortably. Amazing how a game of FIFA can change with a few tactical adjustments and with a little bit of belief in the hands that hold that controller. Here's Bukayo Saka, directional nutmeg, almost went outside the box as well. There was a little bit of pressure from behind. But when all is said and done at the end of that attack, Shellz has the ball and still has that 2-goal advantage.
Both players very good at recognising when a defender is coming a little bit too close, so they ball roll away, and then often that ball roll is either followed up by a scoot turn to just go back on themselves, or that directional nutmeg to try and eject that pace and get away from the defender. Shellz pinned back a little bit here by Ollelito, but he's doing very well to pass it out. As I say that, commentator's curse. Ollelito with a chance.
10 minutes left here to De Bruyne. Into Mane. Leeds currently struggling in this game. The ball will fall back, but the linesman's flag is up. And a little chance to breathe here for Man Manchester City, but a nervy moment there for Shellz.
And in these last minutes, Ollelito has been pressing successfully, but this is what could happen.
Oh, Son's it behind here. Alisson had to hit top speed as quickly as possible there to beat him to it. The Liverpool goalkeeper did well. Zinchenko tries to feed it down the line to Saka, who was running in behind, but 7 minutes left. And maybe an opportunity here. If Ollelito can find a goal, then the second leg is set up perfectly.
Through ball almost getting through to Saka, and I was mentioning earlier, I mean, Ollelito is not unfamiliar with the PlayStation. He will still be able to do a job in this second leg. So I wouldn't say that Shellz is completely through at the moment. Ollelito is definitely going to make this difficult in leg number 2. Still, 2 goals behind, and it could be 3 with this passage of play if Shellz plays it right. Really, right now, he just wants to hold on to the ball and ensure that he has the last attack of the game, Mark.
Yeah, last thing he wants to do is give that ball away and give Ollelito a chance to go into the second leg with his head held high. Be down by just the 1 goal. A little touch from Bruno Fernandes, almost won the ball back, but Shellz will continue now to go forward as we enter the 90th minute. And Shellz will have now the opportunity to burst forward, but no, he's given it away. He's on the other side here for Ollelito. 1 minute of stoppage time elapsed. Mane inside to De Bruyne. Saka. Can he find the ball? Rashford trying to get there, and Alexander-Arnold says, let's get this one out of play and defend the corner. Saka. Leeds United on the attack. Final kick of this first leg inside the box now. Mane always gets a bit of luck. He does get a luck and boom! Makes another save, another corner.
Referee just reluctant to blow the whistle. Surely now he blows it, which he will.
Wow.
Dangerous moments in the final stages for Shellz, but he's able to stop the bombardment from Ollelito. And it all came from just giving the ball away when he was trying to hold on to it, may I add. But he does still continue this 2-goal lead going into the second leg of this grand final.
Yeah, terrifying moments at the end there for Shellz. If you played FIFA at a competitive level, you'll know the last thing you want to do is give the ball away, but then it kept coming back at him. It was a corner after corner after corner. You just think, surely I'm going to concede at this point, but he managed to hold on down. It was actually Ollelito, we have to remember, who took the lead with his first goal.
In the 4th minute as well, it was right at the start of the game, and you think maybe that was going to shake Shellz, but in fact it almost lit a fire underneath him, because what he turned into was absolutely sublime. It was goal after goal, and all of them were excellent. There was either a through ball, there was either a skill move, and even just deciding to shoot from there. A lot of players probably wouldn't have tried that shot from that angle, but Shellz really on top of his game right now.
Yeah, that pass there from Mo Salah, the great vision from Shellz to see the run, not only see it, to execute as well. We always talk about seeing and having an idea and then execution, but that goal from Shellz, if you want to know what it's like to be on top of your game as a FIFA pro, then that is the perfect example of it.
To have the mechanical skill to do it, as well as the decision making to go for it and wonder where your opponent is defending against you. There was a moment of hope though for Ollelito in the 70th minute to give him a second goal, and you could see